You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Pace Radio Show. We're live here at paceradio.net, as well as 420pace.ca and our social media locations. Good evening, Tamara. How are you?
Tired. I mean, I've got an election hangover. Other than that, the same old Wednesday where I'm exhausted because I opened the store. I'm just, it's been a day.
Yeah.
And like I said, a bit of an election hangover still because we had, we had a counting party or, end of the election kind of appreciation on Monday after the election. So I haven't caught up with that.
Not yet, eh? You'll get some sleep.
Well, I was running 2 jobs. Like I worked 12 days straight at the store. Yeah. Plus, I was running the office downtown too on those days. So yeah, I'm a bit tired.
Yeah, you will be. And then now you're gonna go through a bit of a lull because you're so used to go, and now you'll be, you'll have some time now, a little bit of time.
Yeah,
maybe. Maybe.
Well, no, because I'm still doing the substitution program too, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, and I got a bunch of more gummy donations from Dirty Dirt, so they're pretty happy with those and handing them out. So, yeah, like I said, I just keep I never stop. So.
Yeah. So tonight, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be remembering our friend, a personal friend as well as a friend of the cannabis community in Marco Renda. Over the last 2 weeks, since Marco has passed away, I've talked about it during the show, on and off, pretty well. A few of the different broadcasts that I'm involved in, and then
he was a pretty private person to begin with. Like he wasn't one to go on Facebook and share everything he was doing every single day. He was pretty private to begin with. So when he got sick, not very many people knew.
Yeah, like there was some stuff here and there, but in the end, I know that when I went to go see him, that he asked me to post updates, and I said,
"Well, sure. Being that sick is a pretty your health it's a pretty private experience, and until you're ready, I guess, to get to the point where you've kind of come to terms with whatever's going on with you yourself, right?"
You're correct. So for those who don't know, Marco, he passed away on the evening of Good Friday from liver cancer. And
he fought a good fight.
What's that?
He fought a good fight because he was diagnosed quite a few years ago, wasn't he?
Yes, yeah. It wasn't something that for some people, like in my own experience with my father, it was like 6 months, 5 months, and he was gone. Marco fought it, and in the end, the cancer won out. So I thought tonight what we would do is, since I posted the announcement and that got shared around Facebook and other social media locations, and people started to post things themselves, memories of working with Marco and dealing with Marco, letting us know how he helped them. Whether it was from giving them a spot to write, just like, we try to give people a spot here on the Pace Radio Network, a spot to give them their voice. Marco gave everybody, people a spot to write. And it was good of him, obviously, to do that. I was one of those people who had that opportunity, was to write for Marco, and that was. I wasn't a person that had a big grade 12 or university education. I was just a person who just barely even had a grade 10 English, but writing about what you're doing seems so much easier because you're writing from your heart, you're writing from your experience, right? So, and I know that I'm not the only person that Marco helped that way um, uh, with writing. We have a guest tonight that is actually in the studio in the lounge right now. He can hear me talking, but we can't hear him. Just so he knows that. So throughout the night, there could be up to 5 or 6 people who stop in during the night, say a few words, talk about Marco, share their experiences. I've told people that they can stay for the night if they want to, get involved in other parts of the conversation while we're sharing the magazine or the videos from the expo. So,
Yeah. Those are probably let's put it this way. The first time I had traveled in my adult life, after, since I turned, when I got into the cannabis, was to Ottawa. My first big trip was to Toronto. I'd never been to Toronto before for TY. I'd never been to an expo like that before, ever. It was just it was fabulous. I never been into a dispensary. I never had seen a vapor lounge. I was living in bumfuck Alberta, right?
right. Exactly. All right. Well, we'll share some of our stories, personal stories throughout the night. And why don't we bring in our first guest into the program to share some stories? We'd like to welcome Jerry Nori to the Pace Radio Show and our special occasion here for remembering Marco. Welcome, Jerry.
Thank
Jerry.
you.
Hi there. How are you doing?
Really appreciate it. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good.
Doing good. We've never met before. You were one of the people that I saw posted a comment on Facebook in regards to Marco and how he gave you a hand. Just so you know, yours and other comments I did share with the family. I'm not aware whether they're even on Facebook, so I thought that would be an opportunity to do so. So thank you for your comment.
Well, that's really nice. Marco was a big part of my life. He gave me my first opportunity as a writer. And from there, we had a great friendship. I flew out to Amsterdam to the Cannabis Cup, and that's the first time I ever met him.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought me right along with him on all the little journeys. And I was part of the team right away. And he was such a gracious person. He would always kind of think to include me in different things and introduce me to important people that he knew I thought were cool. And it was a real pleasure. And the opportunities as far as a writer, he would let me do anything I wanted. So
Yeah.
I could write about anything. He would send me to places to cover for the magazine. It was a great opportunity.
The when I was writing with TY, there was only one time he made a suggestion to me on an article, and I ran with it. And other than that, just like yourself, go ahead and you had the freedom to write and to do what you do. So, what was your articles normally about, Jeremy?
So I covered California. Marco was not allowed to come to California, from what he was telling me. And so there would be certain people, I went out to Steep Hill Laboratories and I interviewed Addison when they were just getting started, and that was for Marco. I would do all kinds of random things for him too. So he sent me to Champ's trade show where I would host the Treating Yourself booth and represent the magazine. I worked with Kelly at the THC Expo, the Todd McCormick's thing, and we did the Treating Yourself booth at that event. And I was always doing stuff for Marco in that sense. And then when it was me, I was into the medical side. So if I had a great medical story that I could tell or something like that, I would. Or I went to maybe a good event or something, I'd maybe tell that story. And I was tied into dabbing. So before it was even called dabbing, we were very early on in that. I represented the first swing arm
Oh,
that
the swing, yes,
yes,
yeah, the
yes,
dab swing. It was actually on the front cover for winning an
right. I
award.
wrote that article.
Oh, did you? Oh.
Yeah, that was me, and we represented the product at the Cannabis Cup, and we won first place there with the Treating Yourself booth, and it
Nice.
was a great time. All those kind of things were possible because Marco gave me opportunities.
Yeah. So I was doing the booths down in the US, like down on that end. Was it something that he did very often, or was it just an occasional thing?
Oh no, like a couple times a year type of thing.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it was not a big job or a big
sure.
ask to do, and you were just giving the magazines away for free, basically. So
Yeah,
and people like that. So it was a good time.
exactly. I know exactly what you mean by giving those magazines away for free. And it would be a surprise to many people. Like the shows that we were going into were non-cannabis shows. There were women's
Oh,
shows, health shows, home shows. Like you wouldn't expect to see a cannabis booth at a home show, right? So it opened a lot of people. We reached out to basically non-cannabis events, and we had
wow.
one guy come up in a wheelchair, and he asked us what we were doing, and we told him, and he says, well, I'm in a wheelchair because I just had surgery and had a stent put into my heart or your veins or whatever. And we said, really? And he says, yeah, so I can't touch that stuff. And we said, well, here, right here, this issue right now has got a story on heart stents and cannabis. So he took it, happy as could be in order to be able to read something, because it was something that he had a question about, basically. So
Oh yeah, and the internet was kind of a thing back then, but they had shut down Overgrow, and it wasn't the thing like that it is now, where people
yeah,
can get a lot of this information. So those magazines were gold to a lot of people.
they sure were. They sure were. Now as far as okay, you're writing about the different things that events and stuff that you were doing. Did you do anything other writing?
I did some cannabis reviews, and I did some other stories about freedom fighters that were local. I might have done, I tried to have at least one article in every issue, and there was a couple issues where I had more than one.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. I ended up with about 115
Wow.
and 35 issues. So,
That's incredible.
yeah, I see. We got. I believe that we may have Jef Tek waiting in the wings here. I see this on a comment. Jeff, if you want to join at any time, go ahead and join in. And Jeremy, you can continue along here with us.
Sure.
Yeah, and we'll add you into the broadcast here, Jeff. When I see you in the lobby. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Marco also did the Treating Yourself Expo.
Correct.
And I went out to Canada for my first time to that event, and that was my first time in Toronto. And I remember smoking cannabis down there on the street. People were blown away. They're like, "Is cannabis legal in Canada?" And
not yet.
Free event. Yeah.
No, it wasn't that. So that was what year was that at?
Oh, I don't remember the year.
2014, maybe.
That's probably close.
Well,
it was the first one.
2010.
2010.
2010
Okay.
was 2010 was the first one.
Okay.
Did you go out in the back balcony?
Was that I remember there was a volcano vapor lounge.
Correct. Yes, that was in the in the seminar area where there was a bunch of different halls or rooms.
I might not
and
have been.
And there was 12.
I think the first year they had it kind of in the back corner, and they had like sheets around, kind of like these barricades, and there had a guy stand there. You had to show him your pink papers to get in.
Well, we had the vapor we had the vapor lounge. First year was downstairs in one of
Downstairs
the
is what I
seminar
remember.
rooms, and there
Yeah.
was 12 volcanoes that
Okay,
were
that
there.
wasn't the one I was. Then that must have been the year after I was there, because I was there when we had the
Yes,
sublimator there,
the
and
year
it was
after
upstairs.
it came upstairs.
Yeah.
The following year, it was the world's largest vapor lounge at the
Yeah.
time.
Yep. That's right.
4,600 square feet, I believe. And the thing was, it was inside, as we know, the Metro Toronto Convention Center, which was a federally owned building. And there we were with a vapor lounge where people could consume cannabis.
Oh yeah, they were
indoors.
saying the G8 summit was there like right before us.
Yes, it was. It was. And then
wasn't there another big convention on the other side, and they were complaining?
I don't remember. That
Wasn't
could
one year
be.
there was another one or something? But maybe it was because it had the big, Hummer out front
there
with
was
all the nutrients. What nutrient was that?
Advanced Nutrients had
Advanced Nutrients had that
yeah.
Hummer out front, and they were just standing around out front smoking. And somebody I think somebody
Oh yeah.
complained.
Well, see, that was the thing. We were forced to go out because we couldn't smoke inside. So anybody wanted to smoke joints, they had to go out front at the time. And that's what we did, right? But inside the vapor lounge in that second year, not only was there volcanoes, but there was also other vaporizers, like the Verdamper was in there.
Yeah, I love the Verdamper.
That was great. Oh my god, I got a loose dog outside.
Kelly Christian was there with the herbal vaporizer.
Sure.
Yeah. What else was in there? There was others in there as well. I just can't think of what all they were. But people just came and went. They had, we had a sign up front that, it was such place, and you couldn't smoke joints inside. There was
Sit on the back patio.
actually there was at the beginning. There was a bit of there was people that were doing dabs at the tables, and the the convention center didn't like
The torches.
the torches.
Yep, I can only imagine.
Yeah. So that was.
Yeah, they had. Didn't we have glass blowing the one year too?
Correct. That was as things went on. We got the glass blowing going.
Yeah, I think that was year 3, and they had like Team Japan.
Yes.
I didn't make it to that, but I heard about it, and it sounded incredible.
It was a contest. They had Japan. They had the U.S. They had Canada. And I'm thinking one was maybe just a team from Europe. I'm not 100% sure.
Wow.
And they went all weekend building everything right from scratch, right there on the site. And lots of people sat around and watched them do it. I know that as a writer for it, getting right in there, that opportunity to get in there and zoom in on things, because doing photography at the same time for my articles, right? It was quite the opportunity and good time to do that. So.
A lot of my friends are glass blowers, so I've been at some of those flame off events, and what they do is incredible.
Yeah. Right? Oh yeah. It's art. It's glass art. There's no other way to describe it. The stuff that was done. Let me just see if I can. I've got some pictures of some of the stuff on my Facebook wall. I have an album from the 2013 TY Expo, and I'm just bringing it up. I don't try to, because I'm not wired direct here, so I try to stay off of Facebook as much as possible because it's a resource.
Sure. Probably a good thing.
Yeah. And I got pictures there, lots of pictures from the expo that I can share if I can find my photos as I run through.
I still have a collection of my magazines, so I must have a stack of.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I've got one right here.
I had the whole collection in my basement flooded, and I lost them all.
Yeah, this is issue 1.
I know, right?
Oh, okay. All right.
I think I
I got
started
Jeff.
somewhere around 3 or so.
Yeah, Jeff's having some problems to log in. So I'll have to figure out I don't know what's going on, other than I can let him know that, or anybody who's having a problem who may have received the link, you should be able to just click on that link, and if you're on like Chrome, you should be able to open that right up. It'll ask you for access to, your mic and camera and stuff like that, so it can, show you. And then I will bring you into the studio at that point. If you are trying to use an Apple product and you run Safari, and you may even have to do it even if you're running Chrome on an Apple product. Yeah, I see you're watching. He's watching on YouTube.
Yeah, I see that. Maybe he's not seen. Where did you send the link to?
I sent it to his email.
That might be
sorry, not his email. It's Facebook.
Maybe he did. Maybe he hasn't checked his Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook Messenger. It's in his Facebook Messenger.
Maybe get him to private message you his phone number, and you can text it to him. Maybe he's gonna use the phone.
We got John Berfelo. He's
hey,
arrived.
Johnny.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, he's gone quiet.
Guys, I think I just lost volume.
There we go. Okay, we can hear you.
Yep, we can hear you. Oh.
Okay, I got my car and I lost volume.
Lost volume. He's in his car. Can you turn your volume up on your phone?
There you go. I can hear you now.
Yeah. Can you hear us now? Okay, good
Can
stuff.
you hear us now? Okay, good
stuff.
I can totally hear you now.
Great.
All right.
All right.
Oh, I think I can hear myself.
Can you hear yourself now?
I can.
Is it going through your phone? Your phone's going through your car.
Is your phone into your speakers of your car?
Yeah, I'm in my car.
Yeah, if we're coming over the speakers of your car. Yeah, we'd be picking it up.
How about that now? Are you on my phone now?
Let's try it and find out. I can still hear myself, but I can hear you perfectly fine. It's just getting used to the repeat here. That's all.
I thought it worked better for my car, to be honest.
Did you?
Yeah, I thought I was sit in the car.
Everything
was so good. That was okay. I said, I'll go sit in my car and it'll be better.
Well, it's working great out here. Other than it looks like you're frozen. There you go. Stay. See if you're near your place, if you're near your Wi-Fi, stay near your Wi-Fi. If not, I don't know. We'll just try the best as we could, as long as you're not frozen. So, welcome to the broadcast, Johnny. Jeremy was sharing some stories with us, and I'm sure he's got more stories. So I just see somebody else that's just joined us. Alison, I see Alison is here, but it says she's not connected. She has to connect her microphone and her camera to the show. So Alison, you'll have to go back out, or if you can, accept it from there, because it's telling me you didn't accept it on the way in.
I'll be right back. I gotta go.
Yeah, okay. We're just used to setting everybody up before the show, getting everything going. But today I wanted to people just drop in, right? Oh, there we go. We got Gary working on Alison. Hi, Gary. How you doing?
I'm good. I thought you'd see me tonight.
All right. Okay. Well, welcome everybody. We're just Alison. John's just got in here himself. We just got a bit of a sound issue fixed for him. And Jef Tek is trying to join in on the conversation. But unfortunately, he's having a problem, whether it's the link that I sent him. I'm just going to see if I can. No, I can't grab from there. what I'm going to do, Jeff, if you can still hear me, if you're still there, on Facebook, I am going to send you the link in as a message,
You took
and
it.
then that way
I don't know why
you can maybe join in from there.
Under your, you put it on an angle.
I know.
Right. Okay. There you go. Done. Okay, Jeff, try to click on that. But other than that, let's move along here. And John, I know that you posted a very nice comment, stories about Marco. You got something that you would like to share with us tonight, as well as those who are watching.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, Marco was a big part of my recovery too. Like talking on stage with Marco, with Paul Hornby, and being a part of the TY, winning the cups, and just that it's been an amazing journey for patients. And Marco really showed that and was able to express that and gave us that right to be able to communicate where we weren't able to communicate, like where we are today, right? So it was a big part of. Yeah, even seeing him in Mexico, I went and saw him in Mexico, and I bought a lot of glass off of him, and he was a friend. He came by the house quite a bit when he used to come in to Abbotsford. He'd come by and see me here and stuff like that. So I talked to him just a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't really think he was going to pass away, so it was kind of a shock. So
Yes, yeah. No, I was in to see him every few weeks there, up till the end, and yeah, it's surreal. Having watching him go through this, right? So
yeah.
yeah, the
Well, we get to
now
celebrate it, right? We get the blessing that we got to be a part of his life, and that's the best part about it, right? So we don't celebrate the end; we celebrate the life that he had, and that's the most important part. Is really enjoying how he expressed and showed that vision, and we were being part of that vision with him. And just look at those times we had. We all met because of Marco, right?
right,
So, I mean, like, come
exactly.
on, like, look at how many people he put together, and he started things that no one else did, and we can just recognize what he'd done, not just for himself, but what he did for patients and people around the world, because he made such an impact. You go to
Yeah,
Barcelona, there's cards in there, right? In the marijuana museum, like these little things that you get to see of really expressing the true thing is he had a vision. And that's the most important part is you all have that vision and keep that vision in front of you and right to the end. And one thing about life, you ain't getting out alive,
no, we're
right?
not exactly.
And there's a life before life, and then we birthed into a life, what we call like even like a video game, and we see how life is, and then at the end of that, death is another part of life.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
so true.
so
And
true.
it's us moving to that next life that like it's enjoying that life that we have and expressing and enjoying every moment of that, right?
That's
Because
right.
we got to live for now and towards our future. The past, well, the past doesn't do any good to us unless you live in it, right? And if you want to live in a past, we can express the past and look at how far we've come together because of
Yes.
the community
Yeah.
that we built as
Yes.
We've got another guest that's joined us here in the lobby, and I'm going to bring them into the broadcast. And we like to welcome Jef Tek to the program tonight. Welcome, Jeff. How are you doing?
Jeff.
Hey, Al. Hey, Tamara. Hey, Allison.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah,
Hi,
good
Jeff.
to see you.
Hey,
Good to
Jeff.
see you.
Hey, there. How are you guys doing?
Good, good.
Good, thank you.
We've never actually met in person before, so it's good. It's good to meet you in person here on the broadcast.
I brought Stella with me.
All
Beautiful.
right.
I
Yes.
love that. Love
And
it.
so do I. I got her. I brought her too. She's here with us all as well here.
Yay.
Brother Chris,
Beautiful.
But Jeff, like I said to John and Jeremy, I saw your post, and obviously you had a lot to do with Marco and dealt with him, and with Michelle being involved with the magazine. I'm sure you got a story or two.
Oh yeah, I got quite high up on the masthead at TY, and I was actually listed as editor for a while. And at the same time, I had been writing for Heads, World, Rich in the UK, and I felt like we were all, in the same battle together. And then I became
Definitely.
Canadian correspondent. I guess Marco ruffled a few feathers over there. I found out that they were kind of competitive in their New York environment, and they wanted me to change my name. Well, I wasn't about to have any of that. So
Good for you, doll.
Yeah.
I got to tell you this. I've got the last uncashed check here from Michael.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
wow.
I just even cashed the check. Here,
Wow.
here I have a notification from the U.S. District Court releasing Michelle
Yes.
probation posthumously.
That is history,
Nice.
my friend.
Yes.
That
Yes.
is beautiful.
And right
Yes.
here, Ivan Art original.
Love it.
Hey, looks
Love it.
familiar.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just proud to say I'm still friends with everybody that I've ever been friends with,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
including this guy. You might remember this guy. That's because of Michelle.
Yes.
And
Yes.
We got the Ackroyd Meister here.
Yeah. Yeah.
beautiful.
The wall of Ackroyd accolades, I call him. He does.
Beautiful. Oh, beautiful.
So yeah, that's all a legacy because of Michelle. Like, she created that
Yeah.
back when
Yeah.
back when she was.
And as Tamara can tell you, we talk about Michelle here on the program. There you go. Yeah.
All the time. All the time. Yeah.
Beautiful.
All the time. Well, she was like I said, sending me out packages to drop off at doctors' offices back in 2006, 2007, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just been, and her legacy with moving on, like Al too, like with everything you've done with TY and everything was because of Michelle too. Like we all got our starts because of, certain people and now look where we are 20 years later, 20 some odd years later, right? Here we all are together, right? So
Al, I have
Yeah.
a funny story about
Yeah.
Michelle, actually. When my mom and I, years ago, over 20 years ago, were looking to go to medical cannabis conference here in Canada. It was the first one in Canada, and Dr. Ethan Russo had invited me to come with my mother. And I wrote Mark Emery. I phoned or wrote Mark, and I asked him for some money. And Michelle responded, and she was such a sweetheart, Jeff. I got an envelope in the mail within a couple of days with 10 $100 bills all in it and red lipstick all over my envelope, red lipstick marks. And I'm so upset. I don't know what I did with that envelope, but I will never forget that Michelle did that when she sent me the money to go to the conference.
That's her.
That's a
right.
great story for me.
I think I still have her original business card just over here.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I'm pretty sure I do. I might even look at when we go to break.
Beautiful.
Oh, break! I didn't even thought about that.
We don't need to break, do we? We don't.
No, we don't. Yeah. We'll just keep
We
right
don't need
on
to break.
going.
Yeah.
Now, okay, Jeff is showing us something there. I'm going to bring him into enlarge the screen here from.
Look at that. Wow.
Or yeah.
Right on.
Now, Jeff, did you come to the did you come to the expo in Toronto?
No, I've never been there. This picture here was painted by an astrophysicist at Idea City in 2007.
No
While
kidding.
on stage. Right here, you could clearly see a chicken with its head cut off.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my gosh, beautiful. I love it.
Call this one Michelle's Spirit,
Oh, I love it.
and I call this one over here Michelle's Soul.
Oh,
Oh,
gorgeous.
nice.
Look at that. Gorgeous.
See, 2007.
Wow.
2007.
Beautiful.
I can't remember her name.
Mm.
Beautiful. Absolutely. What a treasure, Jeff. What a treasure.
I wrote a few words for Marco.
Oh,
Hello?
hello, Jeff. Uh-oh.
But I lost you.
Yeah. Well, we can hear you, but we can't see you.
Oh, here I am. I'm back.
Your screen has gone dark.
Sorry about that.
Oh, there you are. Okay, you're back. Okay, yeah, you said you wrote some words on behalf of Marco.
I did. I'm gonna have to bring them up real quick here on my computer, because I guess I can't do both. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to transfer it. Give me a minute, you guys.
Okay, not a problem. John, I can go to Johnny or actually Allison. You've probably got a story you mentioned earlier. You've got a story about Marco, and we'll go to you, and we'll bring Jeff back in when we're done.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I go way back to 2004 with Marco Renda when I first met him, when we actually started the Hit Sig versus Canada lawsuit. And Marco there were 7 patients, and Warren Hitzig, a Compassion Club owner, who had hooked up with Alan Young. Originally, I had gotten Alan Young's attention, and I asked him if he would help us do a lawsuit in Canada for patients for a source of our medicine. And he said to me, Alan said originally cannabis wasn't medicine, so we taught him. But then after that, as I said, Marco joined the lawsuit because, again, he was a little bit financially better off than the rest of us who were in the lawsuit who were on disability. And Marco could help pay for what was covered in the lawsuit with Warren. So Marco came into the lawsuit with us at Hitzig versus Canada, and we ended up winning and changing the entire cannabis program in Canada because of it in 2004.
Wow.
So I'm really excited about that. Yeah, really excited.
Yeah. That's one of the important steps that patients have had to do all the way along in order to fight access.
Well, Marco came out and told people specifically that he was battling hepatitis C. And what we had tried to do with the lawsuit was, when I had approached Alan originally said it was just going to be me and him. And I said, no, there were more illnesses in Canada than just MS that cannabis helped. And MS and AIDS at the time, and epilepsy were the only 3 that were really being seriously looked at. So I decided that we'd break it open and bring in patients who had mental health issues, multiple sclerosis like me, where Debbie Stahl-Skiffen came in. I invited her into the lawsuit. And then Warren Hitzig, as I said, paid for everything for us so that he covered the bill for all of the patients involved. But there were a number of us: Marilyn Chamney, Catherine DeVries, Marco Renda, myself, Stephen Vandekamp, Debbie Stoltz-Giffen, and again, Warren Hitzig. I hope I didn't forget anybody, but it was a wonderful time, I'll tell you. And Marco was, again, a big fighter at the time and wanted to be heard and wanted cannabis recognized as medicine in Canada. So I was really thankful that he came into the lawsuit with us to make some more noise.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, I see. Jeff, did you find your words?
I found my words.
All right, and then I'm gonna go to Johnny after you, Jeff.
Right on. So wrote a few words down for a podcast tribute to Marco Renda.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Since my wife Michelle Rainey passed 15 years ago, she has remained a guiding light in my life, a fierce inspiration whose influence didn't end with her physical presence. She continues to move people just as Marco did.
Yes.
When a loved one dies, their family and friends hold them close through stories, podcasts, memories, and rituals. But when a public figure passes, someone who touched countless lives like, I don't know, Frank Sinatra, Elvis, or the Pope, something bigger happens. They don't just pass, they become a legend, a legacy, a force that transcends time. So with Marco's transformation, I no longer mourn a fallen friend. I celebrate a hero who lives on in our collective hearts. No more suffering, no more procedures, no more death, only warmth and peace and light. To all the dreamers who dared to love and lose, this world is stronger because of you. Your dreams, your courage, your being, they echo beyond time. Marco, thank you for being my friend. Your legacy will live on forever.
That was beautiful, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you
That
very
was
much
beautiful.
for your words.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, very true.
Really
Very true.
appreciate you being here with us, because the voices that have known for so long, and how hard we've all, worked, and how we all struggle with our own, we're all patients, right?
Yeah.
So, for us to all be able to still come together all these years later is just,
Yeah.
that's, cannabis brought us all together, right? For a
So
reason.
true.
And this is the reason.
This is
So
the
we can
reason.
continue on keeping these legacies moving forward, and sharing the stories and making them legacies, right?
Zach,
You know, sorry, just to interrupt. I was going to say, I heard everybody talking about the TY Expo earlier, and I wanted to say that that's where I met a lot of you people.
That's what I
So
wanted
Yeah.
to bring up. Yeah.
appreciate that, being involved in that, and Marco inviting Leap into it. But Marco invited Leap into the TY Expo
I'm always
when
going to die.
we were cutting edge. We were literally, people didn't know what to think of Leap, and we were pushing our message far and wide as far as I was concerned. And Marco picked us up, and I will never forget that he gave us a booth there and gave us time and gave us a place at the expo.
Yeah,
So,
he had like an activists or advocates row
yes,
where people could go in
yes,
there. He gave boosts to different organizations and groups in order to help them, reach other people. Yeah.
yes.
John?
Well, I was gonna say, it's 42 minutes into the show, and Marco would make that as like my favorite number, and it's what brought everything together was the 420s, and really meeting Marco and him standing up for patients' rights. I first met Marco when I came to TY in 2010, and it was a very amazing event. It was more small in 2010, and be able to kind of like link with the patients, and then Marco says, you got to enter into the cup in 2011. And I was a patient fighting for patients' rights, like Marco was, and everybody else is here fighting for patients' rights. And I entered that cup, and I won first place. I never
Wow.
expected that.
Congratulations.
And
Oh,
winning
yeah.
first place as a medical patient for the TY Medical Cup, for the TY magazine, and everything that there was so profoundly a big inspiration, because I was fighting for patients' rights, WCB, which we still fight for today. Even when I go and see my doctors, I still talk about these times when we actually stood up for that. And Marco gave us that voice. No, I didn't win first place. I went to the second year and I won second place. So people said it was like a fluke. I said I didn't fluke nothing. It was the medical patients, and there was the strains,
Yes.
and Marco gave us that spot. And not only did he just give us that spot, he did it for glass blowers, he did it for the
Yes.
community, and he just kept giving back.
Yes.
And not once. And I was in his magazine for TY issue 21 on why amino acids work. That was with Bree Stegman and Dr. Manju Sharma and Dr. Paul Hornby, like really coming into that. And then
Yeah.
issue 32. Standardized medical grows, about looking at how we can standardize our grows for medical patients and understanding that. And Marco was always there supporting it. He was
Always.
publishing all of that knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And it just
Yeah.
kept going on. And then seeing him in Mexico, having those times with him in Mexico. You guys got to spend some time with him in Mexico, go to his place, and it was just an amazing journey to spend with him and watching him transition from going to his house on the lake. Like, wow, I got to spend a journey with Marco, and we were blessed to have that journey alongside. And when I found out he passed, I got a good tear for him, and I woke up and it hit me, and then I realized, like, I got to be on the journey with him.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we all did.
We all did.
You bet.
It was, it was
And we
something that none of us really thought would happen. Like people weren't even thinking that cannabis legalization.
We'd still be here.
Look at the people he brought together in 2011 from around the world, from Amsterdam, from everywhere. He brought a community that created a community, and we get to live that community. And he left a legacy, like Jef said.
Exactly.
When a man leaves a legacy, we never die, and that's what we've all done here. Everybody here on this panel, everybody here has left a legacy for others to actually look up to, and how we've been able to actually, express exactly what we truly believe in.
Yeah.
The cannabis gives us our 6 human needs. It gives us certainty that we're going to get our pain done. So it's going to help us. A little bit of uncertainty, variety with all the strains and all the varieties. Significance. It's helping us, right?
Yeah.
Love and connection. Look what it's done here. It's given us love and connection.
Yeah.
And it also gives us growth. Growth that we continue growing our plants. And then when we grow, what do? We contribute. So when we meet all of our 6 human needs, we never want to leave it, do we? We fight more for cannabis than we do for world peace. And that's what Marco did. He fought for cannabis. That was his world peace, and he did it around the world.
I read a bunch of his editorials this morning while I was setting things up. And that's what it was, constantly fighting for patients, whether it was for access to, the cannabis itself or access to seeds, because the patients were losing seeds because we had no place to get them other than Health Canada. And they wanted all these other ones from, we were seeing from Europe. Yeah.
Here you are doing the same thing. You're spreading love with pace. Everybody here is spreading that joy and love. And it's,
we've got a comment here from Buddy Weeds. And he says that he attended the 2010 Treating Yourself. He says it changed his life, and it's forever grateful. Rest in peace, Marco. Yeah.
How many here's lives were changed by Marco? Raise your hand.
Oh.
Yeah, raising your hand. And if you're listening to us, you're raising your hand right now.
Yeah.
Raise that hand. Think of that moment.
Exactly.
Let's all think of that moment together. And let's embrace that moment, and let's give him that love that he deserved. Because look at that moment he gave everybody here. So let's give him that moment and say, you know what? Blessings, Marco. He's here with us right now. He's like, fuck yeah, smoking a big fat.
Yeah. Exactly.
He is here with us right now. We transcend time once we remember.
I agree.
Yeah.
Jeremy, would you like to jump in? You've been quiet there for a little bit.
I was thinking about Marco. He certainly was opinionated, and we didn't always agree, but he would definitely tell you what he thought about things, and he would stand up for the things that he believed in pretty strongly, and that's a really admirable quality. He had me interview the Cottonmouth Kings, and he had me interview some other celebrities. When I came out to the Treating Yourself Expo, I forget the guy's name, but he was a great cannabis musician, and I got to hang
Brad? Was his name Brad?
What was
the Killing Time Band?
No, it wasn't that. He had kind of changed popular songs into cannabis songs.
Oh, Chief Greenbud did that.
That's who it was.
Was it? Okay, yeah, he'd take a lot of country songs.
Yeah.
Lila or something, and others. Delilah is one of the ones that he did.
Yeah, exactly. He had changed a bunch of really great songs into these cannabis songs, and the cannabis songs were great too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that Marco supported so many different people's passions and tried to incorporate them and give them a platform to get exposure.
Exactly.
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 Yeah.
I
Yeah.
also knew Ivan Art, who also knew Ivan Art, who did all the cool caricatures, and Ivan was such a great guy too.
Yes. Yeah. He's got series of his why not posters.
Nice.
You could get 7 posters in a tube. And if I took 30 seconds or maybe 2 minutes, I could go grab a set of posters because I got them right in the other room beside me.
Yeah, he's a really talented artist and a
Yeah,
really wonderful
yeah.
guy.
Jeff's got Michelle's picture that Ivan drew. You can see it there in his window.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
See, beautiful.
That's so
Yeah, yeah,
Oh my gosh, beautiful.
Yeah, it was funny because like I was out in like Lethbridge, Alberta, right? Trying to do stuff and did the global marijuana marches out in Alberta, and Marco was like, "You're crazy. You're in bumfuck Alberta. Like, what are you trying to do? But here, I'll send you this, and we'll send you that. Make sure that you're getting the best shot." And I got all the TY magazines so I could take them into we had a couple bong stores and stuff in Lethbridge, and we drove to Medicine Hat and picked up Neil Magnuson. So we took some, grassroots wasn't out yet, but TY. And then when grassroots started coming out, we would take those out too. But we were just like, he thought that it was like kind of crazy what we were trying to do and accomplish in Alberta, right? But now you look at Alberta, and Alberta's got more, cannabis stores than anywhere else. It's kind of weird, right?
True.
Yeah. The this front cover, it has Michelle's picture on it. It's not a caricature picture, obviously. It's the
No, it's a
actual
real picture.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's also the first time that I got to write for Treating Yourself.
Right.
Because of that, Marco put my name on the front cover.
Oh, congratulations, Al. Good stuff.
And and
Oh, that's a keeper.
the one of the things that Treating Yourself did and Marco did, not only did he do the magazine and stuff, but he also held a Treating Yourself awareness forum. I can't recall what hall it was at, and Michelle spoke as well as others, and because of that forum, that was something that got me to lead to speaking up and talking about my illness and going to different events. So
Well, I remember when I first got back from Ottawa, the first stop I did after I got off the plane in Calgary was to the Bongs and Such to buy my first medicinal shirt and my first copy of TY, and it was the one with Michelle's picture on it. And that was the first thing I did when I got back from Ottawa, and that was 2012 because I just got my license signed by Dr. Cameron, right? But yeah,
right.
Nice.
Yeah, you haven't heard that name in a while, eh?
No, yeah, that's a
I had to fly, and I had to drive in a blizzard from Toronto to Cohill to get my signature, because in Alberta the doctors were actively blocking, when they still do, the college and physicians. My doctor refused to sign me in Alberta, so I flew. I came to that protest in Ottawa, and then I jumped in a car and I drove to Cohill in a blizzard to get my signature in Cohill. You bet.
Do you know
It was
that
that important. It was that important to me.
Dr. Cameron's approached me and asked me when he came to Canada from Florida. He asked me to start getting patients, and that's what started the ball rolling. In
Well, you know
Canada.
what? If it wasn't for Michelle saying, if you don't get legal, if you get legal, you can be louder.
You
She
bet.
says, we'll get whatever it takes to get you your license. And then, but then we had a little accident. We had Taven, so I had to stop.
Yeah, you
I
bet.
just want to jump in here just for a second. John's got to say goodbye.
I got like 2% of my battery. Yeah, sorry guys.
Thanks for coming. Thanks so much for coming.
Much love, you guys.
Take good care, honey. Good to see you. Take good care of yourself.
We'll talk again.
For sure, guys. Thanks again. Much love, and a little bit of silence for Marco, and we'll keep his memory going like we always have with everybody.
Always.
Right.
Peace and grace, guys, with gratitude and love.
Yep.
Bye, John.
Bye.
John.
Thanks again.
There you go. All right. Am I hearing Jeff there? Oh, okay. You were going to say something. You were saying something.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah. Okay. Now, as far as anybody interested in watching a bit of a highlight of
Yes.
Treating Yourself Expo, day one.
Yes.
We'll go to what do we got here? Day one highlights of 2012. I think that's the right one. Okay. Day one highlights.
Woohoo.
I just got to blow it up. And put it there. Bunch of
Nice.
buttons to click, people. It just takes me a little while.
2012. Wow. Woohoo.
We're here today at the Treating Yourself Expo, the 3rd annual, and we're here to show the government that this is a viable industry where they're really losing millions, if not billions, of potential tax revenue by products to seeds to clothing.
Well, we're here selling our new canna bombs called Bare Knuckle Booster Bomb. It's all natural. It works great for aches and pains, and my best friend gets to sleep every night.
We have for the first year 9 glass blowers from the United States, 9 of the top glass blowers coming here to do a demonstration.
We basically have a flame off. It's a glass blowing competition.
We're here to help promote the culture because the glass industry is still in its infancy here in Canada. The credibility of cannabis being used as medicine is being more and more recognized. And to be able to enhance the event and to show the credibility of the event, we're bringing in those professionals. We're bringing in the professors, the readers, and the doctors. They are here at the event.
What I'm into is standardized oral cannabis preps. If you eat cannabis, you go on to a 4 to 6 hour plateau where you'll get relief all through that time period.
It's certainly not in my economic interest for them to change any of these laws. The more things they prohibit, the better it is for me financially. I defend people who are charged with these offenses. And yet I'm saying it's stupid.
In this country, there are only 800 doctors that will sign a permission form to get medical marijuana. That is absolutely outrageous when you think of the amount of doctors that can prescribe all kinds of medicine and will not put down their signature on this form for fear, and it's usually due to old school thinking. That's just the way it is. Today we're just here demonstrating the vaporizer that we brought, mostly to show patients that there's a better way than smoking meds. Smoking is still smoking, it's not good for you. Vaporizing is much cleaner and a much healthier way to go.
Treating Yourself Expo is fantastic because it's really helped us get our product out to the thousands of people that need it. Marco's done an incredible job in the 3 years that he's been doing this, and we really appreciate what he's done for the cause and for the people that actually need it.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
There we go.
That was awesome.
That's so awesome.
Great memories.
And that's the thing. We've got it all on. You got it all on
The,
video.
you can
So
see
that's so
the
great.
you can see the yes being able to it's all history
It is.
of what we did, what people did in order to fight to get to where we are now. And we got to continue to do it because there's always room for improvement, right?
That's so true. That's so true.
Yeah.
But you know what I love? I love the fact that the the glass blowers were there from around the world. That was one thing I will never forget being at that TY Expo. That was absolutely incredible.
And the work that they could do, and
the glass work.
Yeah, and seeing like they put almost like a little town inside of a marble.
They did, I know. Wasn't that incredible?
How do they do that? It's just...
But from all around the world, I remember the glass blowers were from all around the world. And I remember, like you said, talking to a fellow from Japan. And I remember thinking, like, his work was just unbelievable. And I remember thinking again, Marco had gotten all of these people together, all of us in one spot. in the Metropolitan Convention Center to show the world, and Toronto especially, that we were hurting nobody.
What do you got there, Jeff?
Redbeard made me this for my fancy chicken
Gotta blow it up.
racing.
Oh,
I was going to say that's a red beard. You can definitely see that's one of Pat's.
Right on.
That was for the 24 Hours of Lemons race. He made me this just recently, and that was a bucket list.
Oh yes.
I always wanted to race in a real race, and Redbeard made this just for fancy chicken racing out of Abbotsford.
Right
on. Redbeard, just so you know.
Very cool.
There you go. He created a post on behalf of Marco, and I've got it right here, and I'm going to read it off. And what he said is, his rest in peace, Marco. So the TY Expo and Cup was legendary. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to make the trophies. Marco individually supported more glass blowers than anyone else I can think of. I remember when he showed up with Shane King at our glass gathering. Shane said Marco had never camped and usually stayed in fancy hotels. Marco slept in their rental car all weekend.
Wow.
and never complained once.
Wow.
Pretty sure our little mountainside event blew his mind. Wow. Thanks for the memories, Marcos. Rest easy, bud.
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah. So, he brought people together, not only the campus, the glass. Not only did he do Treating Yourself magazine, but he also published Glass Culture magazine.
Right.
Now, unfortunately, I believe it only survived about 8 or 9 issues. But still, he got the magazine out there, gave the glass blowers some coverage, on the stuff that they did. Yeah,
this guy made a lot of puppies that were sold for $4.22 all over Toronto. This is Stitch, and he was the father of all those white puppies. He's 16 now.
Oh, wow.
I lost the mama. She passed away like 6 months ago, but the dude's still alive. He's still kicking. And Tracy had one of his pups, and Sarah had one of his pups, and so did Barasas had one of his pups, and Brittany had one of his pups, and so he's got puppies that were sold for $4.20 all over the country. The $4.20 Chihuahua.
Yeah, Tamara's got a few of them in there.
He was like, I bought the 2 first, right? I bought Peter and him first because I wasn't having a baby, right? And all of a sudden, 39, all of a sudden I was having a baby.
Oh, right.
Remember? Little hemp seeds. Everybody watched little hemp seed grow. Now the hemp seed's like 6 foot tall weed.
Oh, whoa.
15.
Whoa.
Oh, there's just Chihuahuas. See, it rubs off, folks. It rubs off.
Beautiful.
I don't think Marco had a Chihuahua, but
no, but Sarah Sunday had one of my pups too, and Tracy had one of my pups, and and like I said, Barasas had one of my pups, and oh gosh, I can't even remember. Caleb has one of my pups.
Wow.
Like they're just everywhere. And then like I said, Brittany Ann bought one of my pups, and one of her friends. Yeah, everybody had pups.
Yes, they're beautiful.
Just so you know, Jeremy. Whoops, wrong button. Jeremy's got to head out.
Bye, Jeremy. Nice to
pleasure
see
meeting
you
guys.
Thanks so much for coming.
And
sharing all those great stories.
Magazine.
What do you know? What issue? Or I guess like you said earlier on, you had a bunch of articles.
Yeah, I was in quite a lot of them. In fact, I remember I went into the cannabis college one time when I was in Amsterdam, and there was a bunch of issues on the table. And one of the articles that was open to was one of my articles about an event in California. So
there you go.
Wow.
I'm in a lot of them. You can look for it there. I have a website called theskyisland.com. I make films now. So I have a few
Nice.
different
Correct.
cannabis medicine films and
Beautiful.
films about my old past and stuff. So
Make one about the cannabis culture in Canada, and Jeremy.
yeah, I might do that someday.
You need
I know
to
Renda,
bring
you're
them
Yeah.
before
I'd
we're all
love to come out
gone.
there.
Yeah, you gotta come north and do a video up here.
Yeah, let's stay in
Definitely.
touch.
Definitely.
All righty. Well,
Take care of
thank you
yourself,
very
doll.
much, Jeremy.
Yeah, thank you guys. All the best.
Bye,
You're
dog.
the best. Bye bye. There you go. All righty. I see Jeff still with us. He's got the picture there up.
You bet.
What a beautiful picture. That's beautiful.
Oh, isn't that gorgeous?
There
Yeah.
it is.
Beautiful.
A lot of people might not know this about me, but I'm actually from Chicago via San Diego. I was imported by Michelle.
Oh, you're kidding. I didn't
No,
know.
I knew that. No, I knew that.
Oh.
I knew that. I knew she imported him from the States.
So,
Good taste.
yeah. So on Good Friday, this past Good Friday, that marked 21 years as a Canadian.
Wow.
And,
God bless. Congratulations.
well, now you can add to your memories. That was the passing day of Marco on the Good Friday.
Yeah. I mean, it just changed the landscape of everything, and getting to write and edit a lot of the articles. And I remember everybody that was in the magazine back then, and the fact that we're still in touch and still friends now, that's a testament to how strong this bond is.
That's so
Correct,
true.
it is. And we all came together for one reason, and that was to educate people about cannabis.
Exactly.
And Marco gave us a spot to do that.
Exactly.
But I got a confession to make. And that's after Michelle passed, and then after I got to speak at Idea City in 2011, coming home, I was in a lot of pain with my arthritis, and I got one of those seats that was against the bulkhead, and it wouldn't go back all the way.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I wound up just standing for most of that flight, and I kind of did a lot of soul searching, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be allowed to stay in Canada, being that Michelle was my sponsor.
Wow.
I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to keep the mortgage on this house because it was in her name only.
Right.
The saving grace was that it came out of a bank account that I started right after I moved here.
Oh, thank goodness.
So I kind of had to sort of keep my head to the grindstone, and that led me to forging a relationship with Noah Shabib, Drake's producer.
Right.
And I kind of just did the underground thing as an American sort of outlaw. I was afraid to stick my head up. I couldn't afford to play the whack-a-mole game that everybody up here born in Canada can do.
Yeah.
So that's my confession, and I kept Michelle's dream alive, and I kept the house alive, which was her. She said, "Get a dog, take care of the house," and now I've got two of the most wonderful Chihuahuas.
You're amazing.
Good. That's good.
Could you just imagine how much she would love on Tuffy and Marley if she was around? Can you even fathom? They're just the cutest dogs. And
They're addicting. I have 10 of them.
Oh.
I have eight.
I've just written them into a 10-book series of graphic novels called Reactivated, the Chihuahua Chronicles, where me and them and my drift trike travel saving dreams, saving the world from people who are trying to kill dreams, including Vincent Threadbare. I envision being played by Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
And, I've got a whole cadre of squad mates, and it's just hilarious. A partial dream 8 days ago has spawned into 10 chapter books.
Wow.
Wow.
And the
I
first
love
one
your
is
creative
available.
mind.
The first one is available on Kindle right now as we speak.
Wow.
I couldn't have done that.
Congratulations.
I I couldn't have done that without this community, without Michelle, without her love and constant support.
Congratulations, Jeff.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I forgot that I knew how to write.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's been a while since I've done some writing, switched over to podcasts and some writing.
Me too. I haven't written since 12 high checks. Like it's been a long time since I actually read anything.
I have a
Now-
book sitting on my bedside, on my, what do you call it, hope chest right beside me, that I wrote 30 years ago that I still haven't published.
I'm lucky if I can write in my daytime or what I did the day before.
I've got I've got a photo album opened up on Facebook here, and of the expo, and I'm going to bring it into the
You
picture
bet.
here if I can find the right tab to do so.
You bet.
Okay, there we go. I've got her now. There. I'll leave us on the screen too. All right, this is inside the Vapor Lounge, and this is a couple of volunteers.
All right.
Paul.
Remember that.
Yeah, and Mama Ganja Pizzas. I'll get it right. It's Joanne, but I just tried Grandma Peaches. There we go.
Okay.
Grandma Peaches. There's Ted Smith, Hempology.
Ted Smith,
101.
right.
Yeah.
Right on.
With Gail, Ted and Gail.
Beautiful. Good picture.
Jeff and Remo.
Right on.
Some of the vendors.
You bet.
Yeah. This is the Treating Yourself booth. This is my friend 420 Deb.
Yes.
That's there. There's some people there looking at glass.
Good crowd.
Yeah. You can see all the people in the background.
You bet.
Yeah, that van he had plants growing there. You can see the lights.
Excuse me.
Garden. Yes.
Right.
The expo. And all the vendors on the floor, they all had that hard sidewall. They had that overhead banner like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had that for Leap too.
Yeah.
I had that hard sidewall and that overhead banner thing as well.
There's Amy.
Wonder.
And look at that. You will never see
Right
a
on.
cannabis plant at an expo again.
Wow.
You know, I've
Those
talked to
were
some.
the days.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And I've talked to some of the vendors, not vendors, but some of the CEOs of events because of covering them, and
Right.
they would never be allowed to do anything like that these days.
Right.
Yeah, crowd in the lounge.
Wow.
Ted speaking with people.
Good
Relax in the booth. They were a photo booth, I believe.
Beautiful.
Some pipes.
You bet.
Dr. William Courtney, one of the speakers at the expo. The doctor is now in Venezuela. And I know that because I did an interview with him this week.
Wow.
Which will be airing in a couple weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It was good. It was good. It was good talking with him. I'll tell you. And there's his wife,
Excuse me.
Kristen.
Beautiful.
There's Marco, and the reporter from the Naked News. You can see that right in her hand.
Yeah.
And he's wearing a Peter McWilliams T-shirt.
You bet he is.
Look at the look on his face, eh?
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Some buds. We had buds on display.
Right.
There's John Berfelo with Medtainer.
Oh, beautiful.
Clinics, signing clinics. Normal Women's Alliance.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you were in that booth or not, Tamara.
It was that year I was at the Normal Women's Alliance booth, and the year before that I was with Dana at the End Prohibition booth.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, and there's Puff Mama's there.
Yeah.
Glass. Corey, I remember speaking to him now that I see his name there.
Yeah.
Some of his glass. Look at that. It's all functional.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Isn't it, eh?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
The talent, I remember that year, the talent was just off the charts.
It is. Yeah, this would be the year of the challenge of the different
You
countries.
bet. That was incredible. Gary and I actually had a lot of pictures of the glass blowers that year. Gary was just absolutely just
And to do this, in order to be able to do this, he had to be inspected, had to pass all kinds of there's Team Canada regulations and things because of the torches and being inside.
Wow.
So they had to get all that cleared. And there's a TY booth. There's
you bet
Tammy Wade.
Yep.
And I know this fellow's name. I just I was able to I purchased a Treating Yourself vapor bong off of him that he had won
right
through Treating Yourself magazine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I could get his name by just opening up the box, whereas of his because it's on the vape on the.
It's funny because I just found my TY jar the other day in my cupboard, and yeah, it's weird that it just kind of popped up from nowhere. Yeah.
The crew from KDK.
You bet.
A crowd of people. Eh.
Good.
Oh, you know who this is? It's Franco from Greenhouse Seeds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's who that is right there, the back of him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I don't recognize so many people. It's been so long.
He's singing.
That's Darren Dumas.
Correct.
Darren Dumas from singing. He's singing there.
Yes. Yeah. They performed.
Mr. D. That's Mr. D. Darren Dumas. He's a friend of ours.
Correct. Yes.
Right on.
Yeah, he's in two bands, is he not?
I think it was Mob Barley that played there that year. That might have been Mob Barley.
Yes. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, kiss Darren. We still see Darren.
There's a big tent, big grow tent.
Right on.
On the floor comes some more glass. Dr. Courtney again.
Unbelievable, yeah.
His daughter right up there on stage, eh?
Wow. Love it.
Go again. Calm. Marco, some glass. Yeah, that's the oven they had it on. There you go. Normal Woman's Kelly and John Conroy.
You bet.
My friend Deb. Now there's the floor plan. And you can see here there was 98 vendors.
Wow.
This is in 5 years before it was even legalized, and even 2 years before a politician even thought about bringing it forward. Let's discuss it, right?
You bet.
And
it wasn't even talked about until 2014. It was right before. It was all through 2013, 2014, because we had meetings from the first 2012 from Ottawa on, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we were at the 2014 convention in Montreal, and that's when it was actually thrown onto the floor for policy. It was voted on by the delegates of the Liberal Party, and then became policy with the Liberal Party so that it could be put into a ballot question for the 2015 election.
Wow. Wow.
There you go.
And we were there, and I was a delegate for the Crowfoot riding out of Alberta, and I got to vote. I would help the young Liberals write that because we had, they needed some input, right? So there's a bunch of us. It wasn't just me. Judith Reynolds was there. Dana was there. Kelly was there. Loretta Clark was there. There's a whole bunch of us, right?
Right.
We all gave a little bit of input. They threw the policy together, and boom, there you have it.
You can see here on the floor drawing the glass blowing area where the vapor lounge was. And let's not forget about Vape on the Lake.
Yes. Which I never got to. I was saying that to somebody the other day. I never actually got to Vape on the Lake.
Oh, really?
Not there ever.
No. I see Jeff is with us. What are we looking at now?
That's just Michelle.
Oh, just the shelf. Okay.
Yeah, it's funny because Marco moved to Mexico, and then Shane King took over
Because
Bonner Lake.
that's why
And
I
then
was
Shane
Fraser
moved to
Lake.
Mexico.
Yeah.
And now hopefully Shane's waiting for Marco when he gets to the next level, because he's going to be in with some pretty damn good company. If you think
So
of everybody that's passed before Marco, he's got a lot of people that are he's going to be in some really good company.
You
Oh
betcha.
yes, yeah.
Great.
There's a lot of people in our community that have passed on, put up a good fight. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
No doubt about that
That's
whatsoever.
the saddest part about being involved in this with medical issues.
Yes.
Well,
You know,
is that yeah.
our friends, you know, unfortunately, you know, some of them succumb to their conditions.
Yeah, exactly. Some of them
Right?
don't make it
And
that
Corey Yellen too, right? That was shocking.
Yeah.
Very
I never
shocking.
knew Corey either. I never knew Corey either.
I knew Corey. She was like, I knew her pretty well, and I didn't even know. I knew she was not feeling well. I thought it was like a flu.
Oh,
It was so shocking.
God bless. God bless. God, I'll tell you.
Hit the wrong
Again,
button.
Marco, again, very unexpected, but he did a lot of good work here in Canada for the issue of cannabis
Yeah.
as medicine, and that
Sure
I will be
did.
forever grateful for.
Yeah. More pictures. TY booth. Pace. Those banners off to the right side there.
Yeah.
They were used up to about 2 weeks ago until I moved into a new office, and I haven't set
You're
it up yet.
kidding.
I've still
Wow.
used those banners. Yes.
Wow,
Yep.
beautiful.
And the white one on the wall. That blanket, I used it at Canada Expo.
Unbelievable.
And at other events and stuff. Right?
Wow, that's beautiful.
Buddy Weed's got a comment here. Buddy says that so many memories. I met Remo and the String Hunters and many others there. It's the same here, buddy. I know what you mean. Meeting I got.
It was like a family reunion once a year.
Yeah, it was. It really was. It was.
It really was. And everybody, like, we kind of knew that, there was always going to be a TY. And we're always going to meet up at TY no matter when it was. And then it wasn't.
There's a plant. Look at the size of the plant on the show floor.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Holy unbelievable. Crazy.
Oh yeah, a high society glass.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Great picture.
Medtainers. These here. These are for the cup. Each jar had a sample in it, and each one was labeled. So the judges ended up with 20 or 25 of these grinders and storage containers. Right? And then you can see that they had MedCan access. There's Blaine Dowdle.
There's Blaine. I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
There's a
Wow.
guy
Lots
in
of great
there.
memories.
Oh, the early vaporizers, the Da Vinci.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I had one.
These people that are in this picture, Clarence, I still talk to him. Holly in the middle there, I see her on Facebook. And Allie here on the end, she has opened up her own business doing beauty end of things, right? Is what she's involved with. And so, they're all still supporters of cannabis, obviously. Humber Valley Seed Company. Do you remember them?
Not sure.
Okay, that would be. Do you remember Kevin? Forat. I can't pronounce his last name, but Humber Valley Seeds. They are where I got the strain that I'm still growing today. 15 years later, I got it from them, and it is called Grape Escape. And Tamara can tell you about the Grape Escape, how well it's doing.
Wow.
I've been blessed to be able to pass it out to the cannabis substitution program too. Thanks to my anonymous sponsor.
Beautiful. Super.
Yeah, and good strains. This is John, Medtainer, Simon.
Right.
And look at the plant beside.
Look, I was just gonna say.
Like I can't even grow plants in my house. It's just like it breaks me because I just don't have the power.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can see in behind the camera on this picture, there's a booth, and these
Yeah.
people are getting massages. You can see them in the
I
chair, right?
see.
So it's not just
He thought of
cannabis.
everything. He thought of everything. Like there was
Yeah,
massages, there was food, there was this, that. Like there was nothing that he really missed. Really.
I
no,
agree.
yeah.
I
This is
agree.
the pollinator. I believe this is the pollinator here.
Wow, right.
And look over to the right, you can see the Magic Flight booth,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
and that's where
That's Julie.
I met Julie. That's the first time I met Julie.
Yeah, that's when I
Corrales.
first met Julie too. In fact, I
Yeah.
got a magic plate. I have one of those still,
Yeah,
and the little
same.
grinder that you had to buy to grind. Yeah, actually, I just found that the other day.
Oh wow.
Pollen tumbler. There's Twister. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, they were cannabis friendly. This
Insane, look at
campground.
this.
They're cannabis friendly. You can see that on the signs. Eh? Yeah, even they were there
Oh,
at
I
the.
so
But
enjoy
so many connections, and I think that's the word that I think that's the saddest part about not having these events. I mean, sure, the legal industry does have these events type kind of thing, but you have to be in the legal industry and you have to be part of their little, group or whatever to be involved in them, right? And
Yeah.
I'm not involved. I'm not in that little group, so I don't get to attend them. But
No, this
it's
is,
like I said, it's like a family reunion. It's like you go to see.
yeah, it
I met
was.
so many of my good friends at and kept them. I never got into cannabis activism to make friends, but I'm sure grateful I did.
Oh my gosh.
Georgia Tunes, great cartoons
Oh,
within the magazine.
Yeah.
This is Jeff. Cannabis heals Crohn's.
Beautiful.
There we go. I had to get a close up of that. There's Georgia Tunes booth with all her.
Wasn't that David Shea? Or was that
Pardon me?
that was Jeff? I thought that guy looks like David Shea.
Jeff Vrolyk. He did drawing on the floor.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have that. I think that's in my other album. But like there's literally hundreds of pictures in these albums, so there's no way I'll get through them all, right? But you can just see the work, the glass blowers. And getting in there, you get like all the links, the chains, and
You bet. Wow, look
yeah,
at that.
yeah. Look at that, eh?
Wow.
Like,
Oh
was
my
that
God.
whether that was a bell or
That's
who knows?
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Neat.
Just speeding through Canadian team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Right on.
Yeah, Expo was always good. It was always a good time there. So
Was so.
I'm just trying to. There we go. So,
Oh,
but
great memories, Al. Great memories.
and it's just we don't see them anymore. Not like this.
No, it certainly has changed, hasn't it?
Sure has.
I'm
Sure
glad
has.
we were around those days, though. Boy, I'll tell you, I'm glad we were
Yeah.
there.
Me too. Me
'Cause
too.
we
Like
probably-
we'll never understand what we had. Right?
No,
They'll
other
never
people will
understand.
never understand what we had. Other people will
Yeah.
never realize how good we had it then.
I was interviewing a person connected to Lyft at the Lyft Expo.
Right.
And they told me that they were the first person to have an expo at the Metro Toronto Convention Center. I didn't want to, what do you say?
should have. You should have.
I
would have corrected him.
did.
I would have said, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
No.
I spoke to their what do you call it, secretary or person that connects everything for them, because that they just sort of come and go. So I spoke to their rep, and I told them all about the Treating Yourself Expo. I told them to take a look it up online. I actually even showed them videos of it, and they were just flabbergasted. I said, "Yeah, like this was going on well before Lyft even existed."
They don't know unless they're told.
I see Jeff.
Well, the thing is, they don't do they don't educate
Yeah.
themselves beforehand, right? They don't look
Yeah.
ahead. Even honor the people that were there before them. There was people
Exactly.
before me, like
Everybody
you.
thinks they're the first ones.
I know. And they're
Yeah.
trying to reinvent the wheel all the time, and then I hear their little, their things, and it's like, oh my God, here we go again.
Hey, I see Jeff has sent me a message, and he has some words he wants to say.
You bet.
Hey, you guys! I just wanted to really appreciate. I wanted to tell you how much I really appreciate being on the Pace radio station today, and I wanted to give a shout out to you, Al, and having me, and a few fallen comrades I'd like to mention. Neil Magnuson.
Yes.
Yes.
Greg, Marijuana Man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'd like to throw a shout out to Hey Kara 420, Kara Haywood.
Yeah.
And good friends. I miss them. And live friends, this is Dr. Jamie Matthews and Anita Kuntz and Moses Neimer.
Yes.
Yes, Moses.
I'd like to throw out some love for people who couldn't be here. Ramo and Sandy of Ramo Nutrients.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Best people
they've
ever.
been guests.
Love
They've been
them,
guests
love
on the
them.
show.
Good people, like great nutrients, great people. Of course, my dear wife Michelle Rainey, who continues to inspire.
Yes.
And she continues to educate people.
Yeah, and of course Patrick Redbeard, David Malmo Levine.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Bennett.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brian Purdue. I just got Chris Bennett's new book.
Oh, beautiful.
Let me get that.
Beautiful. Love to see it. Show that off, Jeff, for sure.
I got that right here.
Chris is brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Oh, congratulations, Chris.
That's awesome.
All
Oh my
right.
gosh.
Yes.
I love it. Yay. Congratulations.
Such a good guy. And I'd just like to say a shout out to the whole entire cannabis community. Thank you for always being there, and I'm proud to know you.
We're proud to know you, my friend. We really
Yes.
are. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Jeff, for coming on to the show. And I thought that maybe you're only going to stick around for a few minutes, but you've been here for quite a while. Appreciate that. Well, maybe we'll have you back on as a guest, and we'll do an actual interview with you.
Yeah,
that'd be really good. Yeah, let's do that for sure.
All right.
Anytime.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be more than honored. Thanks, you guys. Have a great night.
Excellent.
You too.
Good seeing you. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, see ya.
All right. I got a comment here.
Right.
Okay. Buddy Weeds. Buddy Weeds joins in on a lot of our programs. He says the time we had on Earth with Marco was such a blessing. He left a mark on cannabis, and his legacy lives on.
It
Yeah.
does.
It
It
does.
really
And it's so fitting that we bring everybody else's name into this because their legacies all intertwine, right?
Yeah,
Because
they're
at
all
some
connected.
point we've all touched each other, like
No.
whether like in some way they say 2 degrees of separation, but in our community we've all been at one place at one time together at one point,
Yeah.
and we've touched each other. So you know what I mean? Like
I want to just take a few minutes here before we run out of time and just relay some of the messages that I read off Patrick's earlier.
Yes.
Glenn Wells, he says, my condolences to you and the family. Rest in peace, Marco. He was a proper fellow. That was from Daniel Langell. Clark Matthews says, if it wasn't for Marco, I'd never have found the glass event, the one that Patrick was talking about.
Right.
John Conroy says, sad to hear this. Rest in peace, Marco. Freddie Ferron, a true legend, he says. David Scott says that Marco has gone with a question mark. Wow, what a year, man. I got I got him his growers and won some of the cups, and generally always had his support and friendship. He was a great example of a passionate medical cannabis advocate. I remember the last time he and Michelle Rainey and I talked and broke bread in Toronto. I have the TY War Bong in the cabinet that came with the cups at his event.
Wow.
Yeah. Tara Lee says, my condolences to you on the loss of your friend. And Amy Brown says, rest in peace, Marco. Thank you for all you did for our community. A true Canna warrior. Danielle Daguerre says, they're all in heaven for 420 now. So many warriors now. Debbie Fagan, Keith's wife. And there's another name to add to the list of people that Marco is now with.
Yeah, exactly.
Rest in peace, Marco. Sam Lasco from the Trailer Park Boys.
Right.
Sad news. Rest in peace, Marco.
Wow.
John Byro. No way is what he says.
Wow.
No way. Jordan Comden. Rest in peace. He had a great eye for glass art and helped so many. Naomi, our friend Naomi Poling.
Yeah.
Sad news for our cannabis community. Farewell, my friend.
Yes.
Craig McEachran, he's a former host here on the network. We remember fondly how TY broke down the barriers of cannabis medicinally and otherwise. It was always a great visit at Pipe Dreams when we knew this prohibition was a thing we needed to abolish. Marco was a true champion of the view that cannabis matters. Lucky that we were able to share time.
Yes.
Yes.
Bless.
Amber McIntyre, sad day. The weekend to go, though, because it was Easter weekend, right? Steve Biggs. This is very sad. Another legend has passed. Rest in peace,
Recognize
Marco.
all of these names, Al.
Yeah, same here. Jamie Lamar. Rest in peace, Weed Master. He was such a nice man. One dab with him, and he treated you like family every time you seen him.
Wow.
Adam Schofield. Sorry to hear. The TY forums helped me find a doctor for my MMAR back when I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I met Marco once at the first TY Expo where I briefly volunteered at one of the booths.
Wow.
I'm happy to see that he made it as far as he did and accomplished so much. Phil Soloranzo, great guy, helped me get my product out back in the day. Met him in Canada at the Toronto Freedom Festival, which is which is the Global Marijuana March, which is this Saturday. Then we went to Spanibus Cup in Spain together.
Wow.
Are you guys having a march this weekend?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We are. We'll be there, Tamara.
He says
every year, 26 years running.
Yeah. He introduced me to countless people, always happy and helping. Rest in peace, my guy.
Wow.
Adrian Cankino. Oh man, you almost made it to 420.
Wow.
That's what he says. Jesse James, rest in peace, Marco. You'll be missed, my Benny, and thank you for my experience at the TY Expo and its after parties. And thank you for all the knowledge I was able to receive and share with others in my hometown and doctors.
Fabulous. Wow.
Chris Mills, such sad news. Marco, your efforts and dedication to our community will never be forgotten. The Treating Yourself Expos were groundbreaking for this part of the world and appreciated more than you could ever imagine. Your memory will be carried on and cherished via the friendships that started at your events over the years. And what did we just discuss tonight?
You bet we did. That's all we've been talking about, Al.
Yeah. And then he goes on to say, heart and soul is what you had, and that is exactly what you gave to our community and the world. gone, but never forgotten. May your spirit have a safe journey home to our Creator.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Beautiful.
Dean Cabin, rest in peace, Marco. You were responsible for putting on the best cannabis expos in Canada, and I'm honored to have known you and been part of your endeavors. Thanks for being a real one. Much love and respect. Till we meet again, my friend.
Yes.
Dakota Evans. Oh no, sad to hear. He helped me in so many ways, and I taught him a few tricks for his old dog Tyson. Rest in peace, Marco. You're
Dakota
one of a
is
kind.
Wow.
Yeah. Rob Waddell. You know Rob.
I know
Hempfest.
Robbie well. You
Rest
bet.
in peace, my friend.
Wow.
Kate Whitehead. Marco was an awesome person. Spent many hours chatting with him online.
Wow.
Yeah. Steve French. So sad to hear. Eric Short. Farewell, Marco. Laurie McEachran. Very sad news.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
they just Patrick
Wow.
McLean.
On and on.
Yeah, I just gotta read this last one here.
Unbelievable.
Patrick McLean says, "My condolences. I was at the 2013 TY Expo and had the honor to judge the Cannabis Cup. At the time, I was fighting for my freedom from being arrested for trying to start a co-op medical group grow facility.
Yes.
It was there that I was introduced to some very good people. I fought my charges and won because of the networking.
Yes.
I was able to do there. He helped create a venue that would help people in real situations. That's something that I always remember and hold close to my heart. Plus, the harbor cruise was a blast.
Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful. All those
Yeah.
incredible memories. Incredible memories.
Tamara, you're muted, Tamara.
I said I didn't get to enjoy the cruise, but I lived vicariously through all of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't go on the cruise either, but I heard all about it, you crazy party.
I was on them. Yeah, every one of them. So, but yeah, so there you go. We'll close out the show with those words of the people that he touched and the people that he helped throughout his journey with Treating Yourself Expo.
So many.
Yeah, so many, exactly.
So many. Endless.
Yeah, and Buddy Weeds says, "Thank you for hosting us, Al. Very welcome, Buddy Weeds. It's
Thank you, Buddy Weeds, for all your wonderful comments, my friend.
You know, we talked. Yeah, we talked so much, that I never even showed the magazine
Yeah. And we blew through the time so quickly, and like when we do that, we could do another full show. I'm sure all about it.
I'm sure. And just so you know, you can see here behind me.
Yeah.
It's
you got your office.
I got my office partially set up. And, it's Marco's. It's Marco's desk.
Aw.
Oh, beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and Marco, he gave that to me several years ago, but in those last days of last weeks and spending time with them and stuff, we had a lot of time to talk, and we had stuff and wanted to pass on, right? So
that's great, Al. That's a beautiful memory. That's a beautiful memory.
Right
all the hours and all the things that were created on that desk, and all the more creating we're going to do with that desk. The creations will live on through you.
You bet. You bet.
No.
And thank you for being there for him, Al, because that's a tough thing to have to go through.
I appreciate it too.
All right, guys.
Sorry for your loss, Al, again.
It's time that we have to say goodbye. It's the end of the show. We got another broadcast following in behind us, so we got to shut things down. Allison, last words.
Thank you for including me, my friend, so very much. It was an absolute honor to be involved in this podcast. Thank you so much, Tamara. Thank you so much, Al. I really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, Dusty. Yeah, always.
I love you guys.
Always a
pleasure. Love you too.
Always
love you too.
Tamara, anything?
No, just love the people that you love and hug them close, because tomorrow's not always promised.
You bet, exactly.
You bet, exactly. It's not. All right. Other than that, Tamara and I'll be back next week. Thanks go to our sponsors. We didn't run their ads during the show, but I will run an ad promo as we close out the broadcast to make sure that let people know who help us
Who you are.
bring our
and who
voice
they are.
Help
forward.
us.
Exactly.
Thank you.
All
Thanks.
right. Other than
Bye.
that, thanks. Yeah, thank you, Alison. Thanks to our sponsors. I always have to say this at the end. Limestone City Hydroponics.ca, the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, and at ease.ca. Thanks to all our guests that appeared tonight in order to talk about Marco and sharing memories to all you, to everybody who tuned into the broadcast. Thank you. And
Good night.
good night.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, open Monday to Friday from 10 till 7 p.m. or by chance. Check out our flags, our t-shirts, plus our hats, and look of that supply of rolling papers, plus much more. We've got bongs and your favorite herbal vaporizers. Look at all the incense we have, as well as for those who collect knives, check out these knives in our collection. And while you're here, stop in to see Shay at the piercing room, where you can get poked by Shay. Daily deals, check them out. Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford, Ontario.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. Rerolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at 420pace.ca.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at Pace Radio.
Let's share Pace everywhere. That way it can help create peace. People everywhere advocating cannabis education.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.